first, I'm going to start off with his basic head shape. So I'm just going to create a circle for the part of his head, top part. And then just going to sketch a bit of his jaw, and then eventually come down to his chin. Okay, and then looks like, see, maybe it's a little bit further down his chin. Looks like it's right there. And then he has hair on these sides, a bit of hair right here, and he has a sort of hairline that goes like that. We'll fix that later. And then he just has a big sticking out piece of hair just like this, but with spikes as well. We're going to add that later. Now we're going to do the placement of his ears. Maybe we're just going to make that jaw a bit more pointed because he has a very slim face. His ears are somewhere, so his mouth is like right here. It's pretty far up. His nose is right here. And then his eyes are also right here. His ears are definitely kind of far up. Maybe I'll just erase that a bit. Okay, so this is pretty much like a small basic sketch of Avatar Wan and his hairdo. But now we're just going to define his hair. But before we do that, we're also going to sketch his jaw. It kind of continues like this, and it's angled a bit downwards. Just like, okay, point right here. Just has a collarbone just right there, but we don't need to really sketch that part. First shape we're going to define is his face. So now that we've kind of defined what his face is, it's a slight bit round here, so I'm just going to make it a bit more like that. Okay, take a mechanical pencil, just define the jawline a bit more. He has kind of like a pointy, long chin, I guess you could say. Just going to go up that jawline, and this part is a little bit more round. Just going to go around it. Then now we reach his hair. He has an interesting hairline. There's very different dashes, areas you wouldn't really expect there to be. So there's like a lot of spikes. So we're just going to make 2 little spikes here. Then we're just going to do another spike. And we're just going to do also another spike out. And there's a smaller one. His hair is symmetrical though. Then there's going to be an area right here, and then we're just going to draw another line. Nope, and then also has some hair coming down his ear, and then we're going to draw another line because there's some hair right there. Okay, yep, we have some nice hair right there, like this. It's like zigzaggy. Okay. And then this side has the same thing again. His hair is actually growing a bit behind his ears, so we could just make that adjustment. Then, and I've noticed that the direction of these is slightly different, so he has like a small little dash there, but these spikes are more outwards than upwards. There we go. Now, for his face, his eyes are almost level with his ears. And then his eyebrows are a little bit more up on his forehead, just at the end of his ears and just a little bit distance from his forehead. And his nose seems like it's down here, but then his mouth is kind of away from his chin, just like that. The bulb of his nose starts right here. There's kind of like a sort of line connecting it. First, I'm going to start with the mouth, because that placement seems the easiest right now. let's just make one small slanted line. Just the basic line for his chin. Or not his chin, his mouth. And then just going to curve this up a little bit. And that's also curved up. Okay, there we go. That's a good mouth. And then just above the mouth we have, just above the mouth, I think right here, we have the nose. So I'm just going to use the mechanical pencil for this part. That seems easier. So one of his nostrils is more curved, kind of curved upwards, and then his other nostril is right here, but it's more of a slant. So we have one curve and one slant. Now there's this line that connects the nose. So his nose is kind of at an angle, almost a side angle, so we just have to make that adjustment. Just have to make one line here and then a slight curve right here that's attaching it like that. And then there's also another curve that shows how it's round. So maybe that should be a little angled a little bit more up. That's what we're gonna do. Slight curve. There we go. Just like that. And this is his nose in this picture is more towards the right side of his face because his face is very slightly angled because you can see his jaw. Okay. Just gonna erase a little bit. We don't want it too defined, but defined at the same time. A nice smooth motion. There we go. After his nose. Okay, after his nose, there's another line that leads into his eye. So it's like a very small, slight slanted line right here. And eventually his eyebrow comes up. And then directly across from this area, it's like a small little slant. Okay, you're right. Just not too across, maybe slightly above, like right here. Don't want it to be too far. Okay. His eye, because his eye is going to go there. Actually, maybe let's make this a bit closer. Okay, there we go. And now for his eye placement, this is the part where we can't mess up. So right directly across from here, we're just going to start the eye. And he has the top of his eye is like a small round curve. Just going to make that nice and small, just the curve. Then just going to put that, bring it down a little bit. And then his eye at the bottom is also curved, but the bottom of his eye reaches to almost about here, so I'll just make it. Oh yeah, I also noticed it's long, like more, it's like a longer type of eye. Like the top of his eye is longer than the bottom of his eye. Just the way he's drawn, so just going to take that into consideration. Looks like we have too much excess hair here now, so I'm just going to also adjust that. We can adjust it later. But we're just going to put it just like that. Okay. There we go. And then we're also going to do the placement of the other eye as well. So the other eye is very similar. It's right across from there. Just want them nice and symmetrical. If you can't get this part at first, it's okay. You can just erase it and try it again. You can always adjust, so don't be afraid to adjust the eyes at all. Okay. Oh. I always kind of struggle on the left eye a bit since I'm right-handed. Like, it's okay. Okay. Just make a nice little curve and then just bring it down a bit. There we go. Okay, that's nice. Then we just want to make it a little bit more longer on the edges because that's how his eyes are. They're just slightly elongated. Okay, and now we're moving on to the lid of his eye. So that's just pretty much one small dash there and then one small dash here as well. Just very slightly. Okay. Now we're moving on to the iris, so have to be in the same spot. Just gonna make a small little curved circle. Very small curved. Okay. Yep, this definitely needs to be in the same spot. If it's not, then this messes up the whole eye pretty much. Just nice there. Because he's looking slightly up. Oh wait, this eye I've noticed here, he's smiling a bit to this side. So since his smile is a slight bit off, or not off, it's like curved to one side. This eye looks slightly smaller right here, so I'm just gonna adjust that. There we go. Okay, now we're gonna do the pupil. We're gonna do more towards the top of the eye. Okay. Yes, and make sure this is in the same place as well. I want it to be symmetrical. Oh no. Wait, I can fix it, I think. Okay, yeah, it's fixed. Now we're just gonna add a small little reflection right there. Small reflection to the side of his eye. Oh wait, okay. Here, wait. I've noticed that this eye is a bit too round, so we're just gonna fix that a bit. Gonna add some shading to the top of his eye so it's not too harsh. And you can just if you want to, you can just make the lines like less harsh if you don't want them to be too defined. I usually like them to be defined, but not too precise at the same time. And I'm just gonna go ahead and define the neck right here, since this isn't really too hard. We just have two lines that are very close to the size of these two lines. And then we're just gonna bring this line behind it. We're also gonna bring this line behind it. I'm just gonna put this line as well, since it resembles one of the line's muscles in his neck. Okay, now we're moving on to eyebrows. Eyebrows can be hard to draw, so let's see. We said the placement was going to be somewhere around here. So right here, I've noticed the start of the eyebrow, it starts right there, just a little bit to the left of that line. Okay, once we start there, let's do the other, where the other eyebrow starts. So we're just going to come here and then do it the same height as the other eyebrow. If this was a slanted line, like right here, if we make a slanted line, it would start kind of there. So let's just start it. For the general shape of his eyebrow, it's kind of curved, but it has an arc to it. I'm going to make a diagonal line this way, just a little bit higher than normal. Okay, we're going to also make another diagonal line this way. Just the general shape, and at some point they come to like almost a triangle area here and they flatten out, so we just want to flatten it out, erase off the top a bit. Okay, this start of his eyebrow, it also goes up like this way. It goes up, but it's more curved and also less sharp, if that makes sense, at the end. Now I'm just gonna color this one in. It's a little bit more tilted, so I'm just gonna make it a bit slanted right here. And then I'm just gonna bring it up to an angle, and then it's gonna go down. That looks pretty decent.